Hello, everybody. My name is Luchara, and this is Eco Global Survival Community Server number 10. Why am I walking to the back of my workshop? Felt like I needed to move, I guess. All right, so today I'm going to work on the racetrack a little bit. Mostly, we're going to talk about server 11. I know we're still on server 10, but I mean, there's still people playing, obviously. It's not dead, but it's definitely dropped off quite a bit, unfortunately. So, talk about server 11. Hopefully people come back to at least race once they have the racetrack done, please. um, Maybe try to figure out how we can get people to stick around a little longer. And I get it. After a few weeks, I'm a little burnt out too, right? And I'm not a big builder, right? Like people that have like the big building projects that they want to get done, obviously they have something to play for after a few weeks. But like me, I don't. So I get it. I understand why people leave, right? Like I think we're down to like 24 or 25 active people, something like that. Yeah, 24, right? It's enough. We can probably, hopefully, still have a functioning economy with this many people. If not, then I'll have to turn up the XP rate. Um, but obviously, it's not perfect, and it's hard to be perfect, I guess. So I'm just gonna eat some food. I'm just trying to think, what have I not eaten lately? Pirzak I've had. Trying to get my variety bonus up a little bit. It's only at 19%. I've not eaten a smooth gut noodle roll. Not a smooth nut noodle roll. Smooth gut. I'm not saying it. Damo is still here. Oh, there's still people playing. It'd just be better if there was more, right? It's dropped off. It's dropped off pretty hard. But I mean, it always does after a couple weeks. Um, I don't know what to do about it, other than like have a bunch of activities or contests planned. And maybe I should. Maybe I need to do more, right? But I'll try. I'm always willing to try new things. But server 11, I should have brought Rose with me. If I'm going to the racetrack, I should have brought Rhodes. I think I showed off El Tozo's build last stream, right? Yeah, because I talked about how I like the brick, and it was just an external thing. It didn't actually affect like his housing bonus. Um, so this is server 10, server 11. Typically, we play for 5 or 6 weeks. We shoot down the meteor. We take a month off after the meteor. Server stays up if anybody does want to continue playing, but most people don't. Then we start over, right? This time, though, there's going to be a bit of a longer break because the next big eco update, and it's a big one, update 10, for anybody who's not aware, it's going to have a bunch of very big, long awaited features. Is this really all the roads I have? Do we not have any more roads? Who bought all my roads? No, I have some. They're just somewhere else. Server 10, the big thing is boats. I mean, part of they kind of shot themselves in the foot. They talked about boats like a year and a half ago, right? People have been waiting for boats for a year and a half. That's the big one. But not only that, there's other things. There's going to be some Twitch integration, which doesn't really affect me because obviously I stream on YouTube and not Twitch. Settlements is the other big thing. And that's kind of what we need to talk about today is how we're going to deal with the day zero government with settlements. And we'll get into that a little more here. Just going to work up to that because it's going to be a touchy topic and people are not going to be happy. Somebody's going to be unhappy. Somebody's always going to be unhappy. But hello, Josh. And more character customization options in update 10. And I feel like there was something else that I'm forgetting, but those are the big things in update 10. And that will be coming out. They're doing a public playtest. They set a deadline for themselves, the Strange Loop Games, the developer did, of April 3rd. So when I read that, it led me to believe it might be before April 3rd, but the latest it could be was April 3rd. But I'll be honest, it's probably going to be April 3rd, right? Like, I don't think they're going to get it out early, and maybe they will. But, it's a small team. Um, you know, So if you think about the calendar, we're shooting down Meteor February 25th. I'm pretty sure. I didn't check the poll. Maybe a bunch of people voted last minute for something else. Let me check before I say that. No, so yeah, it'll be February 25th. We're going to be shooting down the Meteor. So, all right, really quiet tonight. Can somebody say something in chat just so I know it's actually working? Like in YouTube chat, not in game. So what was I saying? Yeah, so if we're going to shoot down the Meteor February 25th. Hey, Fuse. Thank you. Hey, Elise. Hey, Die For You. How's everybody doing this evening? Hey, Elcirk. So if we shoot down the Meteor February 25th, typically that means we'd be starting next server late March. But the public playtest starts April 3rd, which I want to participate in. I know some other people want to participate in. Hey, Xandra. Hey, Blacking Out. Hope everybody's having a good evening, good start of their week. I also I might want to change this part of the track. You can't go through here full speed. You need to slow down. I don't know if I want it like that. Like, yeah, see, once you reach speed, you can't make the turn. I might space them out a little bit. Anyway, we're talking about the next server in update 10. Hey, Lord Frost. So it'll probably come out on public servers like that I can put it on my own server. I would estimate mid-April at best, possibly maybe even might be not till May, right? In which case, that'd be terrible timing if I did start a server in late March, right? Because I want to have a server ready to go right as soon as update 10 comes out. So, I mean, I've talked about this part of this before, but I want to reiterate it. So that's why, next server will come out when update 10 comes out, which like I said, I'm assuming late April, could be mid-April, could be early May, could be late, could be mid-May. I hope not. Hope it's not that long. But we will. Looks like if you move the block off the end, it may still keep the idea. So the problem with that skull, technically, if I remove it off every second one, maybe, but if I remove it off every one, the gap would be too wide. You could technically just thread the needle and not even have to turn. But yeah, I could move it off. I could remove it off every second one, I guess. Or I'll space them out. I'll figure something out. Or I could just leave it as it is and have to slow down, right? Like, So yeah, so next server, update 10. I won't know the exact date until they give the date, right? But the big thing is that everybody knows I have a government and a currency in place on day one, right? Like I set up the server usually 4 or 5 days before it actually starts. My admin team comes in, they build some nice, cool looking government buildings. I don't, because I'm not a good builder. Says that there are boats coming on March 3rd. That is on March 3rd, they are doing a Twitch stream previewing the boats. I know what you're talking about, Elise, because it's not super clear what they mean by that. But I'm 95% sure that March 3rd date means that's the day they're previewing boats on Twitch, because every Friday they do a stream on Twitch, the developers do. I believe March 3rd is. Let me check. Yeah. So yeah, March 3rd is a Friday. I'm pretty sure that just means they're. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you're not the first person to think that. I thought it too when I first read those dates. And a few other people in my Discord thought that. So we do a day zero government. We have currency in place on day one. We have laws in place. We have districts down for the roads and all that. And I know not everybody loves the day zero government, but I feel like most people really do. The problem with the settlements feature that's potentially going to cause us issues is basically the settlements feature means you can have unique little communities that have their own laws, they have their own currency, and eventually like they can merge, they can form federations. And it's an interesting feature that I would like to incorporate onto the server. But the problem is I don't know how I have some of the laws that we use. I don't know how you have that and still have the settlements, right? Now, if most people say, you know what, screw settlements, I like the laws that we have, let's just keep doing what we're doing, then we won't do settlements. But it's got to be a majority, right? I'm not going to do that unless a lot of people want that. And eventually, I'll put a poll up in Discord, but we'll talk about it. I mean, it's months away, right? And I'd like to get into that public play test on April 3rd first, right? And get a look at it myself. And then we can make a decision, you know what I mean? But it's okay to talk about for now. But like some laws, like for example, one thing, the big thing that would have to change, and it would, like Black and it was said too, it would also kind of create groups, which we're trying to avoid. But like what I was hoping to do is typically when I make a server, well, every server two, is it server two? Yeah, server two, there was two large continents, and like half the people were on one continent, half the people were on the other. And what happened was that server was really busy the first week or two, and then a lot of people dropped off. But there was a good core that stayed. But the problem was there was a lot of professions that like there was only one of, and like if it was on the opposite continent of you, you had to. It took forever to drive to the other continent. So at that point, we were kind of like, okay, no more two continents, one continent. So every map I've had since then has been one single continent, right? There's always some islands. Basically, I tell the world gen I want one continent max, and this is what it usually spits out, right? One giant continent that you can usually traverse either east, west, or north, south, and then a couple of islands, right? Pretty much every time. But I thought it would be cool now that there's boats, we could actually go back to having more than one continent, right? Like have 3, maybe 4 big continents. But the problem with that, of course, and then have each one be its own settlement would be cool, right? In theory, is what my brain was thinking. But the problem with that, in addition to the settlement thing, like, for example, like the law that I have that like prevents lasers from being placed early. Yeah, and like harbors, like people would, instead of building bridges, people could just take boats back and forth between the islands. Like that seems really cool to me. But I just don't know how to make it work with the way we do government. And the world gen would also make it potentially suck. Because at best, like let's say we had 4 continents or 3, right? That's whatever, 4 or 3. There's no way that every continent is going to have a desert, probably, right? Just the way the world gen works. And I could play with the world gen settings and maybe guarantee each one gets a desert, because the thing is, iron is always found under desert. You can find it under the beach. Like there'll be a tiny, well, this is a bad example because there's desert there, but there'll be a tiny layer of iron all under this beach, right? But I don't want people, like nobody's going to go to a continent with no desert, right? You could do a United Nations main government. Yeah, the problem, like, but if we do that, I feel like nobody's going to go to the other ones. And maybe they will. Maybe they will, but they'll have like a global government. Like it has a global government that's in place until a new government forms in the settlement. But the problem with that is, and I know Elise, I don't think you're on this server, Elise, right? You said you were playing with some friends. Most people here are on the server, but like for Elise's benefit and anybody else watching that isn't aware, we have a law that makes it so that people can't do research, right? Like I don't know how close you're following what I'm doing, so research tables can't be placed except by admin. So the government does all the research. So like we pay people to bring us the materials for the research, and then we put out the skill scrolls. Like every 3 days, we put out different skill scrolls. But like, I don't know how I could enforce this law with the settlements feature, right? With no global government. Like it's the second somebody makes new settlement and splits off from the government, they could immediately start putting out research, right? And that defeats the purpose of staggering it to try to lengthen the amount of time people play. Right? So that law would probably have to go, right? And I mean, I've only done that the last 3 servers, but I kind of like it, right? I kind of like the fact you have to build with just the basic materials for, for the first few days, right? I don't know. I mean, that's just me. But again, this is the type of thing we need to talk about and come to some kind of consensus. But yeah, so because it would be, because you need pottery to make a mint, right? So if you had a splinter government, they would immediately rush pottery to make their own mint so they could have their own currency, right? So there'd be no point in blocking pottery. You know what I mean? Like, am I making sense here, folks? As to why that law won't really be able to work anymore. But again, I'm not sure exactly how the settlements work. Like, is there certain laws that I could set up that supersede settlements, right? Because I would like to give people freedom to have their own currency and stuff, like to some degree. But there's certain laws, just a couple of laws. Like if people don't want to, yeah, and Lord Frost might like we might have to play through it once, and that's why I want to play on the playtest server, right? And I'm hoping a few of you join me. Although let's not become a giant group that ruins the economy for the rest of everybody else. Let's not be that kind of group. But yeah, I was saying like I'm okay with people messing around with stuff. Like if people don't want to pay out for road placement, or they, like if there's one particular law that they want to try doing differently, I'm fine with that. It's just there's just a couple of laws that I really wish I could ensure everybody has. But it depends too. Like I know there's a couple people who are psyched to try settlements. If most people just care about boats and like the way I do things, and maybe Skull's right. Skull says the way I took it is you would have server laws that supersede settlement laws. And if that's the case, then yeah, then we might not have an issue. But I just don't know. So maybe I'm overreacting for no reason and should probably wait till we know more. Right? But I just thought it'd be good to talk. It'd be good to talk about tonight. But yeah, Elise, be nice to see you on that server when the time comes. Bring a couple of your friends. Although I do have a rule, no big groups of, and I got to decide this. I will always say I will never tell, like, you can always have a group of 2. I'm not going to tell like a married couple or even a couple that's only dating. I'm never going to tell them they can't play together. Groups of 3 are a little more sketchy. And it's always been I got to stop having these rules where it's technically allowed but discouraged. Like this run, Simon says plays with his wife / girlfriend, significant other somehow. Ubuntu, they play together, which is I have no issue with. But he's like, hey, is it okay if my friend Hilbert comes play with us? And I was like, sure, no problem, because the thing is, they only play on the weekend, right? They only play on the weekend, pretty much. Occasionally, a little bit in the night, right? Like those 3 people, if they're only playing on the weekend and they're not, super hardcore, they're not going to ruin the economy for everybody else, right? So I was like, yeah, absolutely, Hilbert can come. But the problem is if I let them bring somebody, some other married couple, or like Damo and Darth Arrow, or who are brothers, play together, what's to stop them to bringing in a third person, right? But anyway, so that's something else we or I have to decide. And you only play in the week. So yeah, if you're only playing on the weekend, then it's not an issue, because like the problem is when you have a group of 4 or 5 people that are super hardcore, right? And they tend to dominate the economy either like on the buying side or the selling side, right? Like most of us on the servers have had bad experiences with it, right? But the other thing though too with the big groups that's happened in the past that isn't really an issue, you're not that good, Yeah, yeah. But the problem is, right, if I let you do it, then somebody else does it, and they are hardcore people, right? So it's kind of tricky because people don't like, as I found, because it happened this server, people don't really like these laws or these rules that are, well, I guess you can do it technically, but we'd rather you didn't. Because some people are just going to take that as permission to do it. Other people won't. And then anyway, it just leads to bad situations. It led to me banning somebody this server, which I don't like doing. I banned 3 people on 10 servers, right? But I think part of the update too, they're gonna change the world gen a little bit. Isles would be interesting. Most people group around you and government stores. Yeah, most people not group around you. Oh yeah, I was gonna say one thing that if we're doing the government mandated research, like the government controlled research, if we continue to do that, that removes one of the crappy things about groups. Because I know there was one server, I think it was server 5. You weren't around then, but some of you were. Actually, looking at who's here, most of the people that are here, I don't think were really around on server 5. But we had a big group. It was 4 or 5 people, and this is when you could just do your own research. And like they were getting the research done super early and not sharing it, right? Which is a problem. Now that's not a problem now because government controls when the research comes out, right? But it was definitely a problem back then. But yeah, well, the problem with that group was, like, for example, they researched mechanics really early. They got steam trucks out. They made like blast furnaces and stuff for their smelter, but then like they didn't make blast furnaces for anybody else. Like if people, hey, can you make me one of these? They were like, no, we just make steam trucks, right? And people were starting to get upset. But if they needed something, which they didn't need much of because there was 5 of them, they were very vocal about it, and it rubbed people the wrong way. And eventually people got that up with them and told them they weren't wanted, so they left, basically. Oh, I know, but Xandra, he had a point though, right? Like I should, like I literally have 3 different rules that are technically it's allowed, but it's discouraged. Talk to Luch first, right? Like, well, for 2 of those, the rule is talk to Luch first. The other one is was kind of a new rule that just came up this server, right? And I probably shouldn't have those rules like that. Yeah, but then it's almost too late, right? At that point. But yeah, they just weren't playing nice, right? Like they just like if you're gonna play in a big group, you got to go out of your way to help people out when they ask for help. I feel right, or people are gonna come to what's the word I'm looking for? Not like you, but um, that's not the word I'm looking for. But you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, but yeah, the group thing again. The group thing probably isn't as big a deal if we're doing islands and stuff, especially, and if we have that rule. If we have the government research thing, you were very nice. I believe you. You'll fit right in. We got a good bunch for the most part. Although, I mean, but people get frustrated. People have bad days. I know. I said something in Discord today that I regret, right? And I apologize to that person. And we'll see if he accepts my apology or not. But he says some things that kind of ticked me off, and I let it get to me. Right? I'm human. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too. I try. I realize other people make mistakes, and I try to give them I try to give second chances. Some people just want to see the world burn. You know what I mean? And it's best to just to get rid of those people. But yeah, I think we can all agree. I think everybody can agree at the very least, though, that with the boats update, the whole single continent map thing that can go, right? I think we can all agree that we can have at least 2 continents, right? Once we get maps, once we get boats. I would, at least I hope we can all agree on that point, at least. Always nice to see more people. It is. Yeah, I'm thinking too, the server's going to have a lot of people because there's several people I know that haven't played the last few that are probably going to come back because of boats. Wait, why am I shoveling this? I'm just going to. I had no intentions of. Oh, anyway. All right, so the road is supposed to curve around. I had every intention of the road curving around, and then I just started talking and kind of forgot, right? Because I mean, this is the district the racetrack needs to be in for me to not have to pay for the road myself. So we can go out here and be fine. I don't know why I'm so. Anyway, whatever. Let's go get rid of this stuff that I mined for no reason. Oh yeah, I forgot that I have fancy clothes now. Thanks again, Xandra. But the world, I hope I can make a decent world with islands with the biomes spread out. But I'm thinking like there's a lot of settings in WorldJet and I'll have to play with it. So chances are I will have to take this server down early, which is fine. By that time I can't see anybody playing just to play with WorldGen. Or I guess I could play with WorldGen in single player. Let's just play the test server and see how things pan out before we get too set in current plans. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's a long ways away. I'll be honest though too. I mean I kind of want to talk about it on stream because I knew I didn't have a whole lot else to talk about with the server being so quiet lately, right? And me not having the racetrack done yet. So I was like, oh, we can just talk about that. Oh, this is hilarious. So when people say that it's too hard to change the world in eco, I agree with them, right? Like you can pollute and nothing really happens. You can try to kill every bison on the planet and they don't go extinct, right? And they're right. But this stretch of land has gone back and forth between desert and grasslands like 10 times since I started this racetrack, right? So I'll turn it into Stone Road, right? And then I'll come back the next day and it'll be desert, right? And like part of it turned to desert today. So like, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's going back and forth, right? Like I assumed it's like a global warming thing, right? But then it's gone back, and then it's I don't know, it's just going back and forth. Skoll says, I think before we jump on the whole boat thing, maybe we need to see what kind of boats and options there are. And yeah, I mean yeah. You're suggesting they might be useless. Yeah. Problem I find is that if the server is the same every time, same laws, it can start to get a bit boring. I mean, the community's cool, but needs a bit of shaking up to keep the interest. And you're right, Lord Frost, but I'll always tell people though that, and maybe my thinking here is wrong, but the way I think of it is, I want the server to be new player friendly, right? So that's why I do a relatively vanilla experience. The government is very good to give out money, right? I want new players to be able to come in and not be super confused because Eco's already a fairly confusing game. Like I don't want to throw a billion mods at them, right? But the problem with that, isn't that normal? No, but like for the first 3 days, Xandra, it was fine. It stayed as road, and then it turned into desert, right? And then the next day, it was back to grasslands. So I was able to do it again. And then the day after that, it was like every day it goes back and forth between desert and grasslands. Like every day it changes between the two. Or almost every day. Yeah. So it's right on the border of the two biomes. But yeah, Lord Frost. So the problem with that line of thinking, yeah, it's great to have new player friendly, but my veteran players and Sick Road by Katie. Oh, and she wanted to tell me too. Functional pillars. Oh, wow. She went all out with the pillars. Holy crap. Oh my God. Look how far these ones go down into the ocean. Like look at all the tailings here. right? Like, look at all the pollution and it hasn't really done anything. Look at all the, holy crap, kitty. I'm assuming this is the deepest part, and most of them aren't that far down. Yeah, shout out Kitty for this bridge. Um, yeah, but first I realized that the risk there is that it's gonna alienate, or not alienate, my long term players are gonna get bored. Water is pretty brown. Oh, it is. No, it is from the pollution, 100%. But it's not really, doesn't really matter though, right? Like it's not a, it's negatively affecting the water, and no plants are going to grow here, but it's the desert, right? It's not negatively affecting the planet, I guess is the problem, right? Which is kind of part of the game's appeal. So anyway, I just want to come out here and show this bridge that Calorie made. Looks quite good. Yeah, and Calorie, I know you said you were going to be like AFK lurking because you were cooking supper or whatever. I really would prefer if you didn't make floating canals, like canals in the ground. Great. I really don't want to see floating canals though. Please, please, I beg you for the sake of my sanity. Um. So yeah, so maybe I do need to shake up the server every now and then, right? Like Glorfrost, you might be right. Maybe I'm pushing away too many established people, right? And maybe that's why the server, like this server in particular, I found the activity dropped off a little faster than it did on like server 6, server 7, server 8, right? Because people are bored because it's the same every time. But I mean, that's the good thing. Server 11 at least will be different because boats and stuff will be there, right? But after that, once we get over that fresh boat smell, right, so to speak, maybe I do need to do something different. Like, maybe we need to divide into two teams and have a race to destroy the lasers, or destroy the lasers. Use the lasers to destroy the meteor, or something, just something different, right? But I agree. I can't just keep doing the same exact server with the same laws. And I mean, the laws generally evolve slightly every server. But yeah, I cannot use this because I am currently authorized. Of course, I don't really need the money. Something. But I agree that at some point we're gonna want to try something different. I'm just not sure what, but that would be cool. But the problem with that is I would almost have to not participate, right? Like I could just kind of be the admin, kind of fly around and just give like updates. I wouldn't be able to stream because then I'd be showing what the other team is doing. But what I could do is I could, like, if I had teams, random teams as well, not for, well, what it would be. Well, there's a couple ways of doing it. One way would be to have all of us form a team, or up to a maximum number of players, let's say 50 people, and then find another content creator and get 50 people out of their community, and we go 50v50. That would be cool, but we have to find another content creator, right? And then somebody has to administrate it, right? Or we just do it amongst us, and I administrate it, right? And I wouldn't stream it, but I'd be able to record it, but like have a delay. So like I'd record and then like the next day or the day after put the recording out, just so that teams aren't like, oh, they're doing this, we need to do that too. We put a little delay on it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I need more stone for my racetrack. It would be how I would think of it. Pixel art competitions using, yeah, I need it now. Way back, server, God, what was it? Server 2 and 3 and maybe server 4. I used to do a building contest. Um, it was basically, make the coolest build you could think of. And then at the end of the server, everybody votes on what one they like best. I also vote, but my vote counts for like, I think I did like my vote counted for like 5 times what everybody else vote counted for. And then whoever got the most votes won. There was first, second, and third. I used to give out Steam gift cards. But the problem is with that, well, between that and the server costs, I was losing money. Because back then, too, I didn't even have Patreon back then. Like I was, I was losing money. But the other problem was they changed the way Steam gift cards work. So basically, I could only give Steam gift cards like through Steam itself to people who were in Canada. I couldn't give them to international. I couldn't give them to people internationally. So I had to like go to my local Walmart, find physical Steam gift cards and give them the code. And it was a pain because like my Walmart like didn't have the right denomination that I was planning to give somebody. So I had to give them like more. Anyway, or like maybe I had to, instead of giving them $50, I had to buy like $5, $10 cards. I forget what it was, but it was a pain. It was a pain in my ass. So I stopped doing it. But I could start doing the competition again, but not necessarily the Steam gift card part, right? I could do, well, one thing we talked about potentially doing is give away a prize, because the contest is going to start, it's going to be at the end of the server. Like nobody cares about money anymore at the end of the server, right? Like it's over. So, and I think I talked about this a couple streams ago, but give a prize of like you get a set of iron tools to start the next server. Second prize is like one iron tool of your choice or one steel. You know what I mean? Just something like that to give people a little jump start on the next server. Maybe that would help, because the building contest did get a lot of interest and there were some really cool builds. Kitty is banned from it. Kitty wasn't around when we had them. I think it was just server 2 and 3. Row 1 on server 2. I don't know how many of you folks remember Row. Hey Row, if you're out there. And I think Goody won on server 3. Goody had a really nice farmhouse that like looked like a legit farmhouse. You know what I mean? On server 3. But yeah, well, either that or like have like some kind of community build. Like we take some like big, real world landmark, like find this, sick cathedral or castle in Europe and say, hey, let's build this as a community. The government will, pay out the cost of Ashlar as long as you place it in this district. The problem with that though is I feel I should have probably ate some food while I was home. The problem with that is I feel like people might disagree on how best to build it, and they might, butt heads, right? Potentially. But I feel like I need to do something now. I feel like the racetrack, I feel like it's going to be a fun little distraction, but it's all it's going to be. Like people might come back to the race, but I don't think it's not going to bring people back to playing every day, right? I do need something to help encourage people to play for longer, I feel. But I'm willing to hear suggestions. But yeah, no, I agree with Lord Frost doing the same thing every server. I mean, that is why I do the break in between servers. But it does get old. I mean, it gets old for me too, but I mean, hey, server 9, I was incredibly burned out at the time. I did not have fun server 9, which I've made no secret about. People are well aware that I did not have fun server 9. Oh, I don't have any veggie medleys or fruit salads. Does El Tozo have any? Does anybody have any vegetable medleys or fruit salads? I say El Tozo just because he's the closest. Grim does, the brothers do, and El Tozo does. Okay, and they're all the same price. Skid marks, that's your one close? No, that's the one far away from me. right? And what about vegetable medley? Altozo has a bunch. Yeah, people have some. One server I played in had tokens as rewards that allowed you to do things like warp the locations or exchange for stuff. Well, how would that work? They must have had a mod. I mean, obviously you can warp locations using the teleport admin command. How do you allow other people to do that? That's interesting though. That'd be pretty cool. And I know I sound like a broken record here, but I'm hesitant. I'm always hesitant to add more mods. I've had mods break my servers in the past. You know, they seem to be a pain as much as a help a lot of the time. They can be pain to set up. The mods are the reason that we get that lag on day one sometimes, right? So I'm hesitant to add a bunch of mods, but that sounds interesting. So yeah, you could just set it up as a second currency, right? And have a store give out stuff. Ooh, I think I might like that. And then could, in theory, have your tokens transfer over the next server, because it'd just be a closed currency, right? Closed economy. No way to gain them other than me or the admins giving them out as prizes, right? I think having some kind whatchamacallit, some kind of currency like that, prize currency. Oh my god, it's Kitty. Hey Kitty. Um, there was a school says there's a server I know allows so many teleports per day. I wonder how. The thing is, I'm not super tech savvy, so maybe there's a way to just change that in the files somewhere, like without adding an official mod. And like Edible might know how to do it, but I don't, right? And I don't want to mess around with stuff. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I took like a couple programming courses in university years and years ago. Um, that are like, see, look at this. It's already changed. This was desert earlier. Now it's grassland. It's in the process of changing. Crazy, right? The token was just a mod item, like extra food or something. I mean, you wouldn't even need a mod to do the token thing. Like I said, you could just set up a second currency that there's no way to gain it other than having them given out, right? Warp, we had to type the warp command. You just posted examples of block art comps on Eco and Discord. Nice. Yeah, we have had some pretty cool pixel arts. Server 7? Was it server 7 that like iTrunix was dropping the pixel arts all over the place? And then I think like Rust did one, like Rust did the British flag, but I think that was server 8. Yeah, there's nobody's done any pixel art this server, but we have in the past, like pixel art that you can see on the map. Like somebody did like a Boo, like the ghost from Mario in the mountains last server, and I still don't know what it is. Building contest, Kitty. I was talking about how I used to do building contests. I used to give out Steam gift cards. I think Skull was joking that, or not Skull, Fuse was joking that you're too good of a builder, and you wouldn't be allowed to participate. Yeah, well, that's true. Blacking out. Pixel art was more fun with the color brick mod. That's 100% true. Like color brick mod is a perfect example. I'd love to be able to use it, but I mean, it wasn't updated for this server. It literally, the server would not work with it, right? Nah, you're pretty good, Kitty. And don't get me wrong, there are other good builders on this server. It's crazy to me somebody who's not a good builder like myself has managed to attract so many good builders. Um, but what was I talking about? Oh, colored bricks, right? So I'd love to be able to use it, but it wasn't. It was broken when the server started. I could add it now, but also like if anybody remembers last server, like the lag on day one, like the whole server wasn't playable on day one, right? That was because of the mods, the colored brick mod in particular. So it's like it's tough. It's tough. And I feel like if I keep adding more and more mods, it's just more and more opportunities for stuff to break. And I feel like definitely can't for server 10, we can't count on any mod working, right? Or for server 11, because update 10 is probably going to break most mods, right? If not all. But like I could turn this stream off, shut the server off, get and add colored bricks, right? If people, yeah, like I could add color bricks tonight, right? If people want it, I can. At this point, right? That'd be no problem. Yeah, I feel like having it on day one is part of the problem. You might be right, Die, for you. Sorry if you could hear me drink there. I usually drink quietly, but it wasn't quiet there and I could tell. Yeah, I agree, Skull. It's gonna, like, if we're gonna do it the same day the update drops, we need to accept the fact that Big Shovel and Whetstone might not even work, right? And Hood does pixel arts. That's right too, Dora. Yeah. So I think that boo in the mountains was Hood last time, right? But I never got an official from that, but I always thought it was Hood. I always thought it was Hood who did it. And if he wants to keep his secrets, he can, but I think it was Hood. With the playtest, hopefully modder will update, hopefully. But like some mods, like people ask for mods and I go in and I'm like, oh man, this mod hasn't been updated in like a year and a half. Right? And it's like, and maybe it still works, but I always feel like if it does break, what are the chances the modder's still going to be around to fix it if it does break? Right? Is that mortar stone from me? I did. Excuse me. Yes, this mortar stone is bought from you, Kitty. It certainly is. All right, so I'm going to take Skull's advice here. I'm going to cut off. I'm going to cut off one side a little bit. So I'm going to trim this one, leave this one 4 wide, trim this one. Stock more granite too, Kitty, Xander says. And yes, the tree in the middle of the track is a feature, not a bug. Just FYI. Then we're going to run through and see. Let's see if we can, like, how much we need to slow down, right? All right, so Elise says, I got to get back to work. Cool to finally catch one of your streams. Hope to see you guys in the next server. Thanks for coming out, Elise. And if you have any more questions, like you asked there, feel free. And yeah, I have 10. I think that question you asked me was on like my very first community server. So yeah, if you want to see more eco, I have lots more. Although I'm sure at some point it starts getting pretty samey. Thanks for coming out. And yeah, I hope to see you and your friends next server. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I felt like more than 10. Katie says, oh my, I don't have granite in my mine. Oh, you should be able to get it from the government stores pretty cheap though, right? I would think. All right, so yeah, it's still gonna be pretty hard to thread the needle here, I think. Yeah, I still need to slow down, but not as much. Yeah. Okay, no, I think. No, Kitty, was mostly just me explaining what the potential, difficulties were going to be, potential solutions. And I think we all just kind of decided, let's wait and see. Let's play the play test, a few of us, so we can see how it actually works. And then we'll kind of figure it out. All right, let's see how much I can thread the needle here. No, you definitely do need to slow down, but you can go a lot farther without having to slow down. Oh, and for the record, for anybody wanting to test out the racetrack, it's tuned for steam trucks. Like I test everything out with steam trucks. So if you come in here on a truck, you might struggle. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were good points made by other people and or me. There was nothing that was absolutely vital. I don't, you know what I mean, Kitty? It's mostly we're going to have to talk about it again later, honestly. Oh, and Katie, you're probably not broke anymore. I realized I had way too much money in my bank account today. Um, I went through, kind of looked to see who was still active, looked to see who amongst those people didn't have a lot of money, and I gave away like $30,000 today to you and to a bunch of other people. So anybody who thinks they're poor, and look at that, only one desert spot left now. Wasn't there two last time? So yeah, so like I'll tamp these roads, and they'll be fine because they're grassland in theory, but it'll turn back into desert, right? Oh, I woke up to a lot of stuff. I think that was part of the problem too, is I didn't have a chance to reply to what I thought was bad information from a person. And then they like kept talking, and it got to me. Anyway, no need to talk about that. If that person wants to talk to me, we can talk. If not, then if not, it is what it is. It's pseudo grasslands, yeah, apparently. So yeah, so you, Dora, Strawberry, DeBloke, yeah. I gave people like $2,000 to $5,000 each because I had like $47,000. I'm not gonna build anything. Oh, hey Vitco, glad to see you participating. Hope to see you again next server. Yeah, it would be late in Europe. That's the problem with the evening streams. The evening streams are more for the NA folks. My other two streams every week are more Euro friendly times. So thanks for coming out, Vitco, and I'll catch you later. All right, so let's grab some more roads here. But another thing, well, let's talk about something that let's talk about the prices in the Gov store and or the selection in the Gov stores. Um, should mortared stone be in the government stores? What do people think? Because the reason that mortar stone and human logs are in the government store. You got to go to alert press. All right, see you later. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for participating. Yeah, I expect all the Europe folks. Expect all the Europe folks to leave. So the reason why I have human logs and mortar stone in the Gov stores, and maybe I'm just paying too much, could also be the issue. But the reason I have it there is because, in theory, most people are going to. You were wondering why you suddenly had money. Thank you. No problem. Hey, that's why I gave it to you, because I know DeBloke too was saying they were trying to make a build and they didn't have any money, right? So I'm not going to spend it, right? Now I am still buying good food, right? Is my way of trying to spread my money around, but that's it. Like I only have $8,000 left, so I gave away $40,000 today. Yeah, so people are going to build with hewn logs and mortar stone on day one, right? Eventually, they're going to replace that build, probably. Some people like to build with tier 1 materials. Some people are talented builders, can make it like Sandman. Sandman almost always just builds with tier 1 materials, right? But by the way, if you had like more than $1,000 in your bank, I didn't give you any money, so I feel bad. I feel feel bad for anybody I didn't give money to. I still have money to give out if anybody's broke and wants to build something. Anyway, the reason I want the government store to buy hewn logs and mortar stone is so that when they replace their brick and crap, or replace their crap with brick, they can sell their old stuff to the government store. Is why I put it in there, right? Hewn logs are blacking out. I agree. Like hewn logs can still be used in a lot of recipes, right? And maybe I should take it out of the government store to encourage people to build tunnels and bridges with it instead. Talking with my water bottle. Oh, and I just splashed it all over my tablet. Awesome. I don't think you were poor, Xandra. I don't think you were poor. Maybe I don't think I gave you any, Sandra. I'm gonna be honest. No, I didn't think you were poor. Also, that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't change the name of your bank account. Because then I can't find it to give you money. You have $3,500, Andrea. So either I did give you money or you didn't need it. Either way, you're good. um, but yeah, so maybe I shouldn't have more stone and hue logs. But like this is the first time, the first server that I feel like people have really been like taking advantage of it. Because there's been times where I've gone to clear out the government store and it's just like three of the stockpiles are just full of mortared stone. It's like, whoops. Oh, it was him, Dora says. All right, so Hood made the boo last server. Okay, so I did give you money then. But only 2,000, right? The people that were even broker got like 3 or 5,000. Anyway, I'm 100% sure I didn't give somebody money who feels like they're broke and they're probably upset with me right now. Sorry. Send me a private message and I'll hook you up. Damo says, I don't need money to build. I like to build with clay. Problem with you, Damo, too, is like, I was like, okay, so I know Damo and Darth have like a shared bank account, but I like, or you used to at least, and I like, necrophiliac. See, I thought necrophiliac was gone. So yeah, I might have missed somebody. But yeah, I thought like you guys had like different accounts, Damo. So I was like, I thought you had like a shared account. And so I didn't think you were poor. You know what I mean? But yeah, I might have missed necrophiliac. I feel like they've been on not the same time of day that I've been on lately. Yeah, last online 10 hours ago. And he has been playing only 1 hour in the last day and a half. So yeah, I gave Phil a little bit of money. And remember that. Anyway, yeah, I gave a bunch of people money. And I definitely probably missed people. Fuse says I'm not broke. I don't think I gave you money, Fuse, because of that. Yeah, you have like 3,000. I don't think I gave you any. I might have though. Think they get on stock food and log out? Maybe. But like Dr. Roll Cole and Jasper didn't seem like they needed money, right? So I didn't give them any. For example. Anyway, I'm sure I missed somebody. I apologize. Are 3 high tunnels tall enough for the big trucks? Miso was asking. I don't know if Miso's in stream. Correct me if I'm wrong. When the other truck is empty, it's fine. But when it's full, if it's a flat tunnel, I think 3 high is fine, right? I'm answering this question here. Okay, so you're here. All right, good. So third party view is blocked, but I think too though, like if it's flat, it's fine, but if there's a ramp, it can get a little wonky. 4 is best, yeah. Especially if there's a ramp involved, I think you want 4 just to be safe. I mean, you're fine if you're empty. When you're full, you want 4. I think. I think you can squeeze a 3 if it's flat. Again, you're talking to somebody who refuses to use the truck because they don't like the way it handles. So, or do you need 4? Am I wrong? Do you need 4 when it's full? I could be wrong. Flat, I dug up the 4, but I was going to put stone. Everybody else is saying 4 to 5, so I think I'm wrong. So 3 is not enough if you have barrels, School says. Yeah, it's weird how, well, does it tell me how tall it is? Do I have one in my store still? I think so. I mean, it says it's only too high, but that's obviously wrong. I know when it's full, you can't squeeze through 2 when it's full. I know that. Yeah, I think what Damo's saying here is right. Or that Damo's what Damo's saying agrees with what I thought, but I could be wrong. 3 will clear in a fully loaded truck, but ramping up and down can cause you to get stuck if you don't leave room for that. But I think what Skull's saying is interesting that different things stack higher. Like a stack of, I think what Skull's saying is barrels stack higher than other things. One of the reasons I don't like using trucks. Oh, and when I do the races on the track, I will have like a couple of extra steam trucks down there. If you don't own a steam truck, you can still participate in the races. Doubt anyone ever comes through here with barrels. Where are you at? Out by Hood and Dora's place, probably? No, where are you? Over here? No, that's Elsurk. Oh, you're at home right now. You're just at home. Okay, never mind. 3 high can cause issues for full truck. It's a very tight squeeze. Okay, well, there you go. Barrel racing? No, not barrel racing. Truck racing. You know that. You know what kind of racing I'm doing. All right, so which reminds me, I'll never forget. I don't know. Does anybody here watch Survivor? Probably not. I'm probably the only one who watches Survivor. But they had a girl, a woman on there who was like, she was a barrel racer. Like she rode horses, barrel racing, right? Where they ride horses around barrels. And they had a they had a challenge, right? I'm assuming at least most people are familiar enough with Survivor to know they have like challenges, right? Like, who's gonna buy a shop card and race with it? Somebody. Having barrels on the track would be funny. I could put barrels on the track. I could use those for obstacles instead of like just using walls. Anyway, so this girl, her like anytime they said her professor was Sierra, barrel racer, right? So they had a challenge where they gave them a bunch of like materials and they had to like go from the start of the course to the end of the course using these materials to like basically it was like the floor is lava. You weren't allowed to touch the ground. So there was barrels and wood. So they like have to like make a little bridge, run out to the barrel, pick up the other one, pick up the wood for the bridge, make another bridge. Anyway, her team was losing. So I think they might have had more than 2 barrels. Anyway, her team was way behind and they were like desperate. So like she was like, let's try this. She like turned the barrel on its side and like tried to like, you know what I mean? Like walk with the barrel. And I thought that was hilarious because it's like the whole season they've been saying her job is barrel racer. And she was the one who thought to like try to like go like that on the barrels. You guys probably do not find that funny, but anybody who watched Survivor, it was funny at the time. Anyway, good old Sierra the barrel racer. So, can you just place a barrel on the ground? Does it like have physics? Like, can you slam into it? You'll watch Survivor if Rob brings back Amba. Amba. Your wife, not his. Oh, I fell off. This is like the first time I've fallen off unintentionally. Going this way anyway. I've fallen off going this way because it's harder to get on the thin part. Power kart racing? Oh, God. If anybody wants to race power karts, they can go right ahead. I am not condoning it though. But yeah, Boston Rob and Amber both played on Survivor not that long ago. They did an all winter season, and they both won before, so they were both on there. But they didn't get to play in the same tribe, and they both got voted out pretty early. No, oh yeah, I did hit the wall, but I like this better now. Yeah, I've watched every season of Survivor. And the funny thing is, I don't watch much TV at all. Survivor's like my guilty pleasure or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why. It just always has been. So this is perfect time to make a little wahoo in the road here. So we go out. So 1, 2, 3. Then we want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will nicely go around that, and we are still just okay. So let's take 1 away. That'll leave. That way we're still in the district. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Getting paid no matter what. You watched All Stars or whatever it was. That was a long time ago, that season. But yeah, no, Survivor's still on. It's still good. It's still Survivor. I mean, there's changes now. They give a bunch of different weird advantages and stuff now that a lot of hardcore fans don't like. But you know, you got to evolve. If it was if Survivor had never evolved, never put in new things like hidden immunity idols, it wouldn't still be on. Anyway, nobody here, I'm pretty sure, cares about my thoughts on Survivor. But I could write a video essay on Survivor. Don't get me going. There's not many TV shows I watch, but the ones I do watch, don't get me started on them. Like, don't get me started on Lost. Don't get me started on Survivor. Don't get me started on wrestling. What about Jeff Probst? Man has no talent other than charisma and made a heck of a life out of it. He's a good host. But yeah, he's still there. He's still doing it. He's finally looked like he's aged a bit in the last couple of years, because he basically looked like he was the same age for like 20 years straight. He's finally starting to age a little bit. I mean, I'm sure he's had work done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that will be my guardrail, my wall. So I will need to clear out a little bit of limestone here. Yeah, that's not where we want you. Survivors like eco. Gotta adapt and change. Keep a large group interested. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's true. You do need to keep a large group interested. One thing I've always said: anybody who runs a guild, specifically a raiding guild in an MMO, should apply to be on Survivor, because they'd be good at it. The number of different personalities you got to deal with running a guild in an MMO, particularly a raiding guild, that would just give you skills. You'd be so far ahead of everybody else in dealing with people on Survivor. It would be almost unfair, in my opinion. One of my old raid leader, when I played EverQuest 2 in Aegis, shout out Aegis folks. I'm sure there's no Aegis folks here, but I know a couple of them do subscribe to me. Molten Core run, that's not EQ2. I know it's WoW, but one of my old my old raiding guild, we actually had a weird setup where the raid guild, or the raid leader and the guild leader, were two different guys. I don't know, have I talked about this before? I feel like I might have talked about this before, but raid leader and guild leader were two different guys, which is weird, right? That's not how it's typically done, but it worked. But the raid leader he's probably the most patient human being I've ever been around in my 45 years of life. Like, that guy should go on Survivor. He's the nicest guy. He's smart. Just most patient man. Like, he's a raid leader, you know. I don't know how WoW is for like mechanics where if a single person messes up, the whole raid wipes. But EQ2 had a lot of them. And people would mess up. And he was, like I said, he's the most patient man I've ever met in my entire life. I never once heard him get mad. I heard him get disappointed. Like, I heard him, you know, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. But I never heard him get mad. He's an absolute saint. And I miss him. Yeah, you should do Survivor. Anyway. Yeah, I'm assuming most MMOs have a lot of single person mess ups. Xander says, I've ran multiple raiding guilds, but I don't think I can handle the fitness of Survivor. Yeah, I mean, my current fitness level, I don't think I wouldn't get through the physical. I mean, they give you physicals right before you go out there. I don't think I'd pass the physical, the shape I'm in right now. Um, like I was an officer in said raiding guild, and that was enough for me. that was enough for me. I didn't want to. I didn't want any more than that. That was enough responsibility, you know. But he was an absolute saint. Shout out Mills. I'm sure you're not watching, but shout out the Mills. My goodness, the guy could talk like nobody have ever. He was so verbose. Great guy though. The fact that it did 40-man run still amazes me. Imagining herding 39 other cats. Yeah. EQ2, it's 24 is the max raid size in EQ2. Yeah, and that's bad enough, right? It's 4 groups of 6. Yeah, 40 people in a raid. That's a whole other level. Whole other level. More common than you would think. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Retail workers should do well too. Yeah. Survival instincts and deal with craziness should be ingrained in them, especially from Black Friday. I mean, I've technically never done, I've never worked retail, technically. I've worked fast food and I've worked in a call center, though. I feel like those are also not exactly friendly places to work. So, I feel that. 24 child's play. Yeah. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. But I mean, it's MMOs are moving towards smaller and smaller, I think, raid sizes, right? Yeah, good old Leroy Jenkins. Fun fact. And I don't know why I remember this, but Leroy Jenkins was the first video I ever watched on YouTube. I remember. An EQ2 guildie linked it to us. Yeah, no, EQ1, that's different. Like Uno said, you do multi-guild raids in EQ1 with 50 to 100 and open raids at even more. Yeah. It's compared to 40, so many wipes, especially new ones. Oh, I can imagine. I mean, look, I've never played WoW. I'm not going to sit here and get into a pissing contest about which game was harder, but man, some of the we were pretty good. We had some good players, but man, one little mistake. Yeah. It's tough. I wouldn't be able to do it now. I wouldn't be able to do it now. Rating in EQ2. Kitty feared for my life. Sometimes working retail, people be crazy when they don't have things their way. Retail and WoW. I think. Okay. Two separate things. I think part of Fuse's confusion might be sometimes people refer to non-classic WoW as retail, like the retail version of WoW. But when Kitty says retail, she means working in a real life job in retail, aka at a department store or like a clothing store or sporting goods store or some kind of retail store is what Kitty means by retail. And maybe I'm completely wrong about why Fuse is confused, but yeah, people refer to non-class, like how there's WoW Classic. People refer to the non-classic WoW as retail WoW. I think. Massive raids were insane until the server lag crushed it. That was one thing that wasn't a problem in EQ2 generally. Fortunately. Or are you just confused about how we get on these topics? Yeah. I mean, we stopped talking about server 11 and we're just talking about whatever now. You know me, I get sidetracked easy. Classic was vanilla. Don't they also call it retail though now? Like, wouldn't they call it retail now? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. I could be wrong. Yeah, man, I worked in fast food and like people would order and come back say, "Oh, I asked for this with no pickles," and I'm like, "No, you didn't." Like I know I'm 100% positive you didn't, but customer is always right is the most bullshit policy in existence. The customer is not always right. Customer is wrong quite often. Um, but yeah, the worst, the absolute worst though. Um, no, you could be right. Now that I see vanilla, like I think vanilla is WoW pre-expansions, right? That's what vanilla means. Where I think retail and classic are two different things now, right? Like vanilla is anything WoW pre-expansion, right? Like you haven't played since WoW Classic came out, right? So I believe they only started calling it retail when Classic came out, right? So you wouldn't have been around for that, if I think. Customers always right means being an idiot will get you three stuff. Yeah, the worst was when I was a supervisor. Like I've mentioned before how I used to work at a Wendy's. Um, I was a shift supervisor for a while. Man, no, I know you had a bunch of expansions. I'm just saying, WoW Classic has come out way after you stopped playing WoW. I'm saying the term retail WoW did not exist until WoW Classic came out, which was way after you stopped playing. That's all I'm saying. Vanilla would be pre-expansion WoW, right? I believe. I mean, you could be right. Maybe it's vanilla and classic. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, when I was a supervisor at Wendy's, God, the number of people who just they want free food, and like there was a lot of crappy teenagers in the area that realized that they could like get free food. So like they come through the drive-through and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I was through here 20 minutes ago when I ordered blah blah blah, and I didn't get blah blah blah. I got blah blah blah." And it's like, "Oh, do you have the wrong order with you?" "Oh no, I ate it." "All right, I ate, you forgot part of it, but I ate the rest of it, because I didn't want to come back and have it be cold and blah 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 or whatever, right?" And you could tell they're lying to you. But it got to the point where I'd get so frustrated with it. Um, the Wendy's that I was working at, no room. Oh, great. The Wendy's I was working at was so slow that like I'd be like, "Okay, what time did you say you were in at? Okay, and what did you order?" And I'd write it all down, and I'd go through, and I'd go through the previous orders, and like you could see the time, and I'd be like, "Hmm, you know, there's this giant block of time I can see every order that's right around where you said you ordered. I don't see what you said you ordered." And yeah, I'd call them out, and I'd be like, "Look, man, I know you didn't order that. Hey, I sure how you know. I'm just talking about when I used to be a Wendy's supervisor, and teenagers used to try to lie to me to get free food." But yeah, eventually I started calling them out on it. I'd be like, "I know you weren't here. I know you didn't order that. You can leave, or I can call the cops, or I can ban you. Those are your options." And they always left. "Do you want this granite, kitty, before I zap it? I thought you said you wanted granite for something." Yeah, oh, it was satisfying. The first time I called one of those kids out like that, it was like I was like, "Yeah, just pull ahead over there. I'll come out. I'll get some coupons or something for you here. Just give me a minute, type thing." And so they pull over, and when I came out and told them, they're like, "Yeah, man, you're not getting anything, you know, and either you want to argue with me, I'm just going to call the cops and or bar you from here." So, oh, it was, God, felt so good. One of the most satisfying interactions that I've ever had in my entire life was like the first time I did that to a little snot nosed kid. Yeah, they just ruin it for everybody else, right? Sorry, Kitty, did you want some of this granite or no? Those people make it hard for us people who just want no ketchup, mustard. Oh, look, I prefer my stuff plain, right? I just want cheese and bacon on my burgers, or maybe just cheese, not always bacon, but always cheese. Well, unless it's like chicken, then it's bacon and not cheese. There's plenty of granite in the world, so feel free to zap away. Okay. Zap. Zap. Yeah, so I get it. Like I order my stuff plain, but I will say this, and this might sound weird, but knowing that I order, I want my thing a certain way. Chicken sandwich, then, Cal. But yeah, well, is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a burger a sandwich? Right? Chicken sandwich, if you will. Um, I worked a lot of I worked the drive through a lot of Wendy's, right? Um, they called it retail because they rebranded and created classic to go back to vanilla. Thank you, Skull. I was like, wait a second, Craig, who's Ishmael, is doubting me here. Maybe I'm wrong. So thank you for backing me up. But yeah, I know when I go to, McDonald's or A&W or whatever, I'm very clear. I would like, a McDouble combo. I would like a teen burger combo, plain, just cheese and bacon. Plain, just cheese. You gotta be very clear. You gotta enunciate. You gotta make sure they hear it. Right? Like I honestly believe that very rarely does my order get screwed up. And I hear people complain, oh, McDonald's, they always screw up my order. And it's like, I don't know, dude, they never screw mine up. And I order my burger. I want specific things on my burger. I honestly feel like ordering at a fast food restaurant is a skill. I mean, it's not a useful skill in particular, but I feel like it's a skill. He says, if I'm asking suffering for something not to be there, it's because it doesn't agree with my system. Sadly, when I have to order pizza with light sauce. Yeah, like, I get it, right? Like, I'm a picky eater, not because of my system, but just because I'm a picky eater. I'm just very picky with sauces and textures. I don't know why. Like, there's certain sauces I love, like Catalina salad dressing, put that on everything. McDonald's barbecue sauce, put that on everything. Um, yeah. Try ordering something without meat, you pay the same price. Now I was getting it wrong. Hey, the Wendy's I worked at, I will give credit. Um, it's called a veggie bun at Wendy's, and it is definitely less. But that's Wendy's, or that's Wendy's in Canada. Wendy's in the States might have a different policy. I've heard about this that's near you, Calorie. I've heard about this McDonald's in Texas. Now, when I order McDonald's, I don't know about anybody else. I get my phone out, which, hey, the green screen, my phone screen, the green screen. Anyway, I get my phone out. Somewhere in Texas, you could look it up. White something, White Bridge. No, White Bridge is like a place in Wheel of Time. I'm pretty sure it's White something. I saw the article the other day. Anyway, when I get McDonald's, I order on the app, and then I just pull into the parking spot, and they can bring it out. It's one less thing they can screw up, right? Because now I'm putting the order in, right? It's because generally speaking, the order can be screwed up. Well, the order can be screwed up at 4 points, right? The customer can be wrong, point one. The person taking the order can screw it up. The person making the burger can screw it up. And the person putting the burger in the bag, Fort Worth, well, that is not White something. The person putting it in the bag or handing the bag out can screw it up. So there's 4 places your order can get screwed up, right? If I order on the app, I can make sure I do it right because I can check. So that removes that, right? So you're down to 3, and then you're removing so now there's only 2 ways it can get screwed up, really, right? Anyway, he says, I can't have spaghetti unless the sauce was cooked with sugar to reduce its acidity. My secret recipe for spaghetti when I make spaghetti is I mix roughly half spaghetti sauce and half salsa. Just put them together, throw in some hamburger, boom, spaghetti sauce, done. I mean, That only really works if you like spicy stuff. But I got to remove myself from here. White Settlement, a suburb of Fort Worth. Yes, I was right. Craig was also right, but I was right. Property remove. That way I can use the store. So if you ever see me or another min using property add and property remove, we're just adding or taking away authorization from the government store so that we can either sell to it or deal with the contents, right? Katie says, oh man, I might not be able to have your spaghetti then. Yeah, I know it's possible. I could order sugar, but participant boards all around. Yep. Yeah, so this McDonald's apparently that's near Calorie in Texas, or 4 hours away, which to me is not near, but I live on on my nose. I live on an island where if you want to go anywhere further than an hour away, you got to pay a $50 toll bridge. Anyway, yeah, there's no employees. It's all automated. Apparently, it's like a test. Even they even cook the food automatically. That's wild. But I mean, these robots can do crazy things. The robotic systems that they had at the French fry factory I worked at, like the bagging systems and some of the sorting systems were crazy. So yeah, I believe it. I've seen, and I mean, Ishmael can back me up. He used to work in that same factory. There's some crazy robotics and automated systems there. So I believe it. Surrey is a good 2 hours away. Yeah. So the island I live on, it's kind of shaped like a banana, roughly. And at a third of the way through and then another third of the way through is my town. And then the other third is the major town. So it's basically divided into thirds with the two major towns, being the dividing points. But if you were to drive, I think it's 3 hours from tip to tip on my little island. So the farthest I can drive and stay on the island, drive in a single direction, is about 2 hours. But I can go an hour one way or 2 hours the other way. I think it's about 3 hours from tip to tip. But I've never done it. I've gone from one tip or to the other tip, but I've never gone from tip to tip, right? I'm obviously going to stop home. Anyway, robotics is going to crush all those repetitive crap jobs. Yep. I was going to say my job is safe from robotics, but isn't there a program that's like Chat GPT or whatever that's going to take over my job, my YouTube job? You know where I am? Oh, I'm on Prince Edward Island. I've never. Well, I live in Summerside, PEI. I've never hid that. I live in Summerside, Prince Edward, or just outside Summerside, Prince Edward Island. I don't hide that. Canada's smallest province. I assume that's where you thought I was. If not, then I'm not sure where you thought. Cape Breton Island, maybe? Yeah, AI artists, AI music stars. A lot of AI coming through. I'm just driving right now. I don't know why. Where am I going? What am I doing? Mortar Stone. Yeah, I live just outside Summerside, PEI. I've never hid that. The only thing I hide from you folks is my actual last name. My name is Joe. I'm from Summerside, PEI. And you know what? You can probably find my last name just based off that. But anyway, Mortarstone. There's not a lot. Where's this? Dawn Shop. Let's go to the Dawn Shop, probably. Sandman store. Sandman has more. Sanders says, yeah, that one is a bunch of people worried, Luch. I don't think it's taking your job. I hope not. No wonder 4 hours seems a long way for you. Well, like I said, to go anywhere further than that, you got to go across that bridge, and it's a $50 toll, right? And I want to say for the record, it's $50 one way. It's free to get on to Prince Edward Island. And there's no toll to come You got to pay a toll to leave, which I always thought was funny. Yeah, yeah, Katie, you can find my last name through PayPal. And I mean, I'm not really worried about it. Um, like I know, you know, like Goose, for example, the stream deck that I use, gift Goose Tears, Ghost or gift Goose Tears gifted me that. So he has my full address and full name, right? Um, but yeah, I don't. It's I'm not too worried about it. I have a very unique last name. It's not Smith. Let's just say. Everyone needs a stalker. Yeah, everything is bigger in Texas. Yeah, 15 hours. That's crazy. Well, I mean, you want to talk about crazy? Um, I think I passed Luchera, exact same place in a row 3 times, probably. Um, California, right? I mean, we all know the state of California, or I assume maybe not some of the Europeans, but California has more people in it than Canada. Like that's wild to me. But I mean, I've never been to California. Um, Everyone needs a stalker. Sanders, I've had one fuse, wouldn't recommend it. No, I wouldn't recommend it either. Um, I don't want one either. Whoa, that was on. Hey, strawberry. Oh, oh, I did not expect the traffic jam here. I know, I know you're joking, fuse, but I don't know, man. I don't know these days. I don't know if I'd make that joke anymore. Personally, uh, he says, I think your last name starts with an L. LOL. Edible has my full name and address, so I can never piss him off. No comment on my last name. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, hey, this is new. This is new. Or, well, I mean, this look is new. Nice Ashler. Kitty says, I bet a stalker too, which confused me because I'm not interested or good looking enough. You see, Kitty? You are. That's the thing. And your problem is you actually talked to them once and were nice to them, and they took that the wrong way. And then they stalked you. This is why women aren't nice to men, because they end up getting stalked if they are. Like, as a man, like, I love it when a woman compliments me. It doesn't happen very often. And I understand why, right? I mean, a woman who's a stranger is never going to randomly say, oh, hey, nice shirt, right? As much as I would love that if it happened, I understand it's never going to happen, right? A woman I don't know is never going to compliment me on my looks. It's just not going to happen, right? Anyway, like I remember, God, I mean, like I can remember like compliments I got like 3 years ago from like my friend's wife, who, I don't have a chance with them. It's never going to happen. They're one of my best friend's wives. They were like, sure, looks good on you, man. Like just something innocuous like that. It's like every time I went out, I wore that shirt for like the next 3 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how men are. If you compliment a man's shirt, that man is going to wear that shirt until it has a hole in it, basically. Black and Out says I drove 10 days from St. Louis to Anchorage. Okay. I'm going to say something and then I'm going to amend what I say. I drove across Canada from the East Coast of Canada, where I live, to Alberta. Straight, no stopping, just stopping to eat and gas up. But when I say that, I was a passenger. There was 3 of us. The car was a Jeep. The Jeep was a stick. I can't drive a stick. So the other 2 guys had to drive the whole way. But we drove all the way across Canada. It took like 3.5 days. Straight driving. And it's crazy for anybody who doesn't really know Canadian geography. Like, you leave PEI, you go through New Brunswick, you go through Quebec, you hit Ontario. When you hit Ontario, like the first thing you see is Ottawa. And I remember getting to Ottawa, I was like, oh my God, we're in Ontario already. God, we're making good time. And then you go by like Toronto and the greater Toronto area and like some other cities there. And then the rest of Ontario, known as Northern Ontario, took what felt like a week. And as soon as we get out of Northern Ontario, it was like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta done. Northern Ontario was like 95% of the trip, or at least it felt like it. It was ridiculous. I never want to see Northern Ontario again in my life. Yeah, like I was saying, Sandman, he loves building with tier one materials. Loves it. He almost always exclusively builds with tier one stuff. Right? Like, am I crazy? Like, does anybody remember Server 5 when he built like that giant castle? Excuse me, with like a big moat and then like a giant pyramid next to it? That was all tier one materials. Anyway. Stalkers. I think we're talking about stalkers. It's like the whole bad idea, data in, data out. We're putting that data into ChatGPT. Oh, no, that's not about stalkers. Katie says, he was a 40-year-old man on my summer desk reception job for the state. Dude at his job threatened if he didn't leave me alone. I'm going to go out on a limb. I know you're less than 40 now, Katie, but I'm going to say you were probably quite a bit younger than him, too. And look, I get it. I'm 45. I see an attractive 25-year-old. There's a part of me that's like, 25, that's still old enough, you know. They're an adult. Their brain is fully formed, right? They're their own person now. And then another part of me is like, but on the other hand, I'm old enough to be their father. That's not cool, right? Like, anyway, went on for years, and you still deal with the fallout of it, from it. I had an ex that went very poorly. A relationship that ended very poorly. I'm not gonna. She didn't stalk me, but it was. Anyway, I don't wish a stalker on anybody. Only once in my life has it happened, Luch. Lady came right up, knelt down, grabbed my belt buckle, and said something about how much she liked it, and you were at work. That is he in front of my house in the second floor? Oh, let me fly back. I'm not sure. I want to see what Strawberry's talking about. It is a large buckle with the star, Texas Star on it. Katie says, I was 19 or 20 at the time and never had any experience with men besides the massive guy friends of my brothers. Yeah, he was taking advantage of you. 100%. 100%. But like anything other than 25, to me, like you're not an adult till you're 25. Like realistically, I know 18 is legal, but like I like the smiley face. I'm assuming you meant the smiley face, Strawberry. There's Gonzo. What's up? You can't really jump when you're flying. Unfortunately. I love it. View, let's get the view from across the lake. Oh, beautiful. Like for example, a 45-year-old going in with a 30-year-old. That's 15 years different, right? That is much more acceptable than a 30-year-old going out with a 20-year-old. That's 10 years difference, right? Which is a lot less than 15. But the 30-year-old and the 20-year-old are very different people. 45 and 30 are still probably at different points in their life, but it's much more acceptable, right? So like 30, at my age, 30 is my minimum, right now. Anyway, I don't know how I get on to that topic. That's completely unrelated to anything. Cal says, "Gotta be honest, when I see a girl in her mid-20s these days, they just look like kids to me." Well, that's another part of the problem. Like, I can look at a woman and be like, I mean, she might be 25, but she also might be 17. It's just better. You're just better off not looking, or at least not engaging, right? Like, I'm not around. I don't have any friends under the age of 30. I don't know what 25-year-olds look like anymore, or 15-year-olds, right? Like, you don't know. It's hard though. Like my problem too is like I'm immature. I've always been immature. You know, I would have much more in common with somebody 10 years younger than me than somebody my own age. I mean, now, right? But it's hard. Anyway, dating is hard. The world is hard. Ooh, I like this bridge. Was this always like this? I guess this was always like this, right? He says, "Oh, I'm not a friend then. I'm 29." Okay. I don't have any friends in real life under 30 because no, I do consider you a friend, Kitty. But when I say that, I say it because like I don't know what you look like, right? I'm saying that because I don't know what people under 30 look like anymore. Well, I mean, heck, I don't know. Do I have any friends under 35? Like my main friend group is younger than me, but they're like 37, 38, right? They're not super young. Like I have a cousin who like her and her husband, I consider them friends, but I think they're like in their 30s now, I think. Like she's quite a bit younger than me, but we've been friends ever since she was an adult, basically. We weren't really friends. I mean, the age gap was a little too much. Like when I was 25 and she was 10 or 12 or whatever, we didn't really hang out. But since we both became adults, we do. So like, but I'm pretty sure her and her husband, I'm pretty sure they're both in their 30s now too. Or like, one of my best friend's little brothers, I knew him and some of his friends, but pretty sure he's in his 30s now. Like the guy I'm talking about, I ran into him this weekend, and I remember talking to his wife, and she said she was 32. And I like, yeah, well, I'm just bad with ages. Like she does not look 32, and she also did not look like she's had 3 kids. But that's another conversation altogether. Um, so yeah, anyway, Luch is single and has been single for too long, as you can tell. Katie says, I used to be the mother of the friend group. Being the daughter feels weird. Here, have a fresh baked cookie. Thanks, Ma. Oh, see, look, none of it's desert anymore. It's all grassland now. But I'll come back tomorrow and this strip will be desert again. Weird. It's weird. Kitty says, fun fact, if you know me in real life, I'll try to feed you baked goods. Oh, I'm already fat enough, Kitty. Homemade and fresh. Craig there is bad enough. Anytime I go over to his place to play board games, he's like, I made muffins. It's like, oh no, your muffins are so good. I don't need to be any fatter. Yeah, no, see, he said he does the same. I told you. Oh well, it's fine. I'm okay with how I look, mostly. Yeah, I like this part of the course now. Might go on for a little too long. No, it's fine. I feel like I need to put something here though. Maybe I can find some oil barrels to put in. Need something. Chocolate cream cheese muffins. Those are the one. Every time you go to Ishmael's house to play a board game, you gotta have a chocolate cream cheese muffin. Or more than one. Uno says, I work with a girl that brings and sells special baked goods, if you know what I mean. Oh, my brother in law is a bit of a baker, if you know what I mean. It's funny, I have two brother in laws. One is a police officer, and one is very much not a police officer. Actually, he's retired now. He's not a police officer anymore. But yeah, they got along though pretty good, surprisingly. Oil barrels would be a cool option. So does anybody know, like, if I place one there, does it have collision? Like, can you? I guess I should go buy one and see. Does anybody have any gas for sale, or even empty barrels? Oh, one other thing I could do is Kitty mentioned which piece was it, Kitty? Was it the roof blocks? Let me pick up some road here. Oh, yeah, you can only hold 10. Katie says I helped with wedding cakes and birthday cakes. Peak set, okay. You said you can drive over, but it slows you down. I believe is what you said. So it's definitely roof peak because Xander and Katie both agree. So just this one or no? This one. Oh, it looks like it's. Oh no! Oh, but it's down there though. Or can you double it up? Or do you mean to have it up here? Like, do I put it down here? Or do I put it up here? I do the set, not roof peak. Okay, wait, what? Set. Oh, roof peak set. Sorry, my bad. Didn't realize they're two different things. Like, I feel like if you go down onto that, you're not going to be able to get. Okay, back on top. Okay. Oh, I fell. I've fallen and I can get back up. All right, so let's put the asphalt back down and we'll try this again. Rumble strip, exactly. Crag is what it'll be. Sort of form of rumble strip. Oh, that was bad lag. I crashed earlier today. All I was doing was like opening my store and it crashed, which is less than ideal. But yeah, I hope to have the. I don't know if I'm going to have this done by Thursday. Probably not, but I'll definitely have it done by the weekend. So come the weekend, we will do some racing. All right. Roof peak set. That is this one. 10 blocks. Sure. Whoa. I totally forgot calorie. Completely forgot calorie was coming. That was a legit jump scare. Oh, man. Somebody clipped that. I legit jumped. Yeah, okay, they have collision. All right. I will have to get some of these then. So I mean, I still have a good chunk of track here, right? Nice to come up with some different obstacles. I do want to try these rumble strips though. So you can drive over this, eh? Yeah, that's perfect. I will use some oil barrels. I'll put them the other way going across. Like this way? Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to form, it's going to be like this anyway. But I want it, that may be too many. Like I want it to be something that you want to avoid, right? So you go on the other side. Yeah, you're saying like speed bumps, but I want them to be avoidable, right? Oh no, that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. I mean, you can get over it. Oh no, what? Yeah, what? Oh, I see what you're suggesting. Like speed bumps. Like just do a strip. Like basically do the same thing or similar to the way I did back here, but instead of using walls, use those. Right? Might be good. And then I can use the oil barrels, like put an oil barrel maybe here and here. Something. Does anybody have any for sale? $1 million question. Will I finish the bridge tonight or tomorrow? Ooh, it looks like it's coming along this bridge. I'm gonna say tomorrow is my guess. All right, so let's just do them in strips. We'll do them in um little strips. Yeah, I see what you were going for now, Kitty. I was thinking of something else, right? Yeah, no, this could definitely work. This could definitely be good. Those could go at most corners to slow people cutting corner too much. Yeah, so like kind of make you like put a strip right here make you kind of either choose to go around. And if you want to cut the corner, and you got to go, maybe just do like a little strip of 3, maybe something like that. I can play with them. I can put them in a few different places for sure. And plus, I mean, people are gonna know to avoid them probably, right? Because I mean, it's pretty clearly people. I don't think people are gonna look at them and go, "Oh, that'll speed me up. Let's hit that," right? I hope anyway. Oh, 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 oh! They're pretty rough to back over. I would not recommend backing over them. Just FYI. All right, let's get a little head of steam here. See how bad this sends me. Okay, okay. No, that functions quite well as a speed bump type obstacle. All right, great. Thank you for the idea, Kitty. I will incorporate these into various spots on the track. I did forget. I did for a time, and then I kind of remembered. Because, yeah, it was a while ago you mentioned it, for sure. I do that. I like even stuff that I think is a good idea. This brain's a sieve, right? I don't necessarily remember. I'm gonna need to eat soon. I have some stuff though, so it's fine. All right, so we did talk about server 11 a bit tonight. If anybody missed that part, I recommend watching the first little bit for that. Although largely the consensus just seemed to be, let's not really worry about it until we play test it, right, on the playtest server, and we have a better idea how it works. Yeah, originally I was kind of down to just say, you know what? No day zero government. Let's let it run. Screw it, right? That was kind of where I was at the first. But the more I think about it, the more I want at least something probably. I don't know, but I know some people want chaos. And I know there are people that have left my server because they didn't like the way I ran the government, right? Katie says, completely off topic, but I've gotten decent at setting up a Minecraft server. Well, we did talk about that last week, about Minecraft. Was that Thursday stream last week? We talked about Minecraft a bunch. So are you setting that up like on a machine at home? Yeah, briefly. Just like, should we, oh, you were here for that part of the conversation. We talked about like, should we still buy mortar stone? And like, I don't want to be changing prices all the time. But part of me feels like maybe once skid steers come out, we need to like drop the payout for stone to like 0 or at least 0.05 or something. Because people just, I mean, if you're digging a tunnel, yeah, bring your stone to the government, get rid of it. I get that. But Gonzo says a mod of Minecraft server. We talked about that last week. Because we're going to have this gap between eco servers, we were kind of like, well, what do we want to play? What do we want to play as a group? Because we want to play stuff together. Minecraft was discussed. We're definitely going to play Sons of the Forest, which comes out February 23rd. So that for sure, but I don't know how long that'll take us. So maybe we do some Minecraft. Now, I haven't played any Minecraft, vanilla or otherwise, in a really long time. So I'd be down with vanilla, but I realize most of you folks probably want modded. So we could probably run some mods. I know like Punch said he's played like thousands of hours and, would only do modded. I'm sure Punch isn't the only one. Yeah, so Minecraft is an option. I do own it, but I own like the Java version and like, I don't even know. Where would I even get that now? Like, I don't even know what I would need to do to install it. Like, do I need to remember like a username and password probably to get in? It's probably on an email account that I don't even use before. I've never ran a mod Minecraft either. I haven't played a ton of Minecraft, but the Minecraft I played was vanilla. And it was also probably 10 years ago, at least 8 years ago. Like, it's been a long time since I played any Minecraft, right? But I'm down. Or we can do, Ark or some other survival game, or Valheim was suggested. We got lots of options. But it's basically, although if we're going to be doing the test server on April 3rd, it doesn't leave a lot of time, right? Because, you got to think Sons of the Forest is going to take at least a couple weeks. That starts February 23rd, which is going to take us into probably mid-March. We could start up something in mid-March until the test server. The test server is probably only going to take a couple weeks. Like, we're not going to be playing on the test server for a month, right? Probably. We're just there to check it out. We're not, I don't care if the meteor gets destroyed in the test server, right? You're not sure about your username for us and that? Is it, well, it's either X-rated or shows off one of Xander's kinks or has like a real name. I would say. Which one? But yeah, I'd probably just, I could just buy Minecraft again. But it's funny. I don't know if anybody noticed today, there was somebody joined my Discord named Glidercat. That is a small YouTuber that he started a bit before me. But like early on when we were both starting out, I remember we used to watch each other's stuff and comment and stuff occasionally. So he joined my Discord today. We had a conversation just in DMs because he watched my, my video I had about, starting the second channel and how I'm struggling and all that. Because he's going through the same stuff and he's doing better than I am. Like he's got 5K subscribers, right? I'm just under 3K, but he's going through a lot of the same stuff I am, just struggling. Even if my sub, he's not getting the views that he wants. But one thing he mentioned to me that I kind of wish I would have done differently is he said he's played like 100 different games and he's only paid for 6 of them because he plays, small indie games, but he just asks the developers for a key and they usually say yes. And I'm like, I've never tried that. I've spent hundreds of dollars on games for my channel. I probably should have asked for some keys, I guess. Oh well. Kitty says I'm Kitty666 in Minecraft. Actually, my Minecraft name probably is not Luchara. It's probably Psycho Joe. So as I've said before, my real name is Joe. My nickname used to be Psycho Joe. I've done some crazy things in the past, some of which I've at least alluded to here. Not going to get into that now. Yeah, be Psycho Joe probably. So yeah, I probably should. I've probably been spending money on games I don't need to. I got to prune my wish list because there's a lot of things on my wish list that I don't really want anymore. It's just stuff that wasn't out yet that I looked at and say, oh, maybe I can do content for that. Right. And then I add it to my wish list. And now that was last year. I don't want it anymore. So I was only going to do it for content. And honestly, what am I trying to say? Honestly, I'm not going to play it now. I'm not going to play year-old games for content, probably. Right. Although that Planet Crafter game, I guess, is, yeah. So my wish list is a watch list. It's fun. That's a funny comment, Calorie, because that was actually the 2000s, not the 90s. Just because it's not a 90s holdover like Skater Boy. She said, "See you later, boy." Anyway, confession. I really like that song. I don't care who knows it. I'm meaning Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy, in case anybody didn't know what I was talking about. I gotta represent my Canadian girl Avril. Right? Gotta represent Canada. Oh yeah, Planet Crafter's early access. Yeah, if it's early access, that's different. That's different. True. I did record episode 2 today. It'll be going out tomorrow morning. Um, she said, "See you later, boy." Have I heard her newer stuff? Yes, I liked it because it kind of went back to her more pop punk roots. Didn't I don't love it, but it's good. I mean, for new music, and yeah, I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but low key, Demi Lovato's new CD, new album, whatever. I guess nobody buys CDs anymore. It's not a CD. um, Demi Lovato's new stuff. It's actually kind of rock too. I didn't hate it. A friend of mine says you should listen to this, and I was like, Demi Lovato, what? And it actually wasn't bad. But I've kind of gone soft, right? I used to be way more like, oh, that's way too poppy. That's way too poppy. But everything's poppy nowadays, right? If you want to listen to new music, you got to realize it's going to be poppy. Like I don't hate Olivia Rodrigo stuff, right? For example, Avril, you were spending years hoping we'd get her back in the music world. We got her back. She she's aged. She hasn't like she looks the same. I mean, obviously she looks a bit older, but I mean, I guess she's not that old. She's like late 30s or 40. Avril, talking about Avril here. Amy Lee, is that the Evanescence lead singer? Cal, I think I want to say. If that's the case, I do not blame you. It's there's something sexy about singing. Like I understand why women fall for guys in bands. I 100% get it. Like yeah. No, I like Evanescence. Although I'm gonna be fair, other than you bring me to life or whatever it's called, I don't know if I could name another Evanescence song off the top of my head right now. But um oh, well, there was another song that was in like Guitar Hero. What was it called? I forget. But no, yeah, no, she was. Yeah, I get that. I get why you would crush on her. 100%. Oh, I should have left these at the racetrack. Let's take them back. But yeah, no, yeah. You felt that way about Miley Cyrus' new stuff. Oh, that it was good because it was more rock. I've never listened to her. I have nothing against Miley Cyrus, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, growing up, like I started listening, I was more into like just punk, like just not pop punk, just punk, right? Like skate punk, like your Pennywise and your Offspring, you know, stuff like that. And it just became more pop punk over the years. And yeah, nowadays it's just pop punk, I guess, for new stuff. But I mean, good music's good music. There's rap stuff I like, there's country stuff I like, but it's just not stuff it's not stuff I go out of my way to listen to, right? Anyway, I believe I've been going for over 2 hours, and I'm running out of stuff to talk about. We've talked we talked about Server 11 for the first 45 minutes, and since then, it's just been me talking about extremely random things. I think she did a song with Stevie Nicks. I mean, it's close enough. I know who you mean, Kitty. Stevie. Al says, every time I play ball, oh, where am I going? Oh, God. I was just bringing these out here to drop at the stockpile at the entrance, and I just kept driving. Anyway, yes, I'm wrapping up stream. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll be back Thursday afternoon. Racetrack might be done then. Might not. Kitty says I dislike the Wrecking Ball era. Yeah, that was her big pop era, right? Howard says every time I play ball in OW, I'm assuming that's Overwatch. OW. Swinging the team at the beginning of the match. I came in like a wrecking ball. Um, Oh, is Ball a character's name? I've never played Overwatch. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so Thursday, maybe I'll have the racetrack ready. Probably not. So I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about. We'll find something to talk about. Somebody give me something to talk about. Or hey, maybe would you be ready to do Kitty's hide around a hide and seek on Thursday, Kitty? It's a hamster and a big mech ball. He's a tank. Okay. No, I've never played Overwatch. Anyway, we'll figure out something to talk about Thursday. Something to show off. Is there anybody who has new bills that I didn't show tonight? Let me know. Speaking of this, you can do for your patrons. What? Wait, what can I do for my patrons? I mean, what you want me to sing Wrecking Ball for my patrons? Nobody wants to hear me sing. Believe me. Believe me. Yeah, just to give us a theme for the stream, right? And then Saturday we can do races. So I'll definitely have it done by Saturday. I mean, if you don't mind, if you're too busy or whatever, don't worry about it. I'll figure something to talk about. A Wrecking Ball video. I'll see what I can do, Sandra. I make no promises. I do need to do more for my patrons. I'm slacking on that. We got to pick a date time to judge the temple competition that officially never started because nobody started it. Kitty says they want your nudes and OnlyFans. Oh, I'd rather listen. I don't like my body right now because I'm heavy for what I usually am. I'd rather you'd rather see me naked than hear me sing. Straight up. I mean, I'd probably wanted. Oh, Dora's finished with your house. Oh, was that the one I checked out on the weekend? The one that's over here or over here? All right. Well, we'll check that out on Thursday. We'll go see Dora. Domel's table would. All right. So there you go. Domel's temple will be on Thursday. So that's a couple things we can check out on Thursday. In addition to doing. Oh, what's this? Have I seen this yet? On their nature walk? Say post meteor for temple competition. Okay. Because I mean, the meteor is still like 2.5 weeks away, right? You don't want to speak from? Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's done, it's done. If it's not, well, we can go check out work in progress again. Um, yeah, a little manscaping. The nudes would be no problem, but you can't manscape away the fact that I can't sing. I did share a video of me singing once already, but it was like a punk song that I wrote myself. That was recorded in a garage where the audio is just crap anyway, right? So it's like it's a little different than me singing Wrecking Ball, right? In my opinion, anyway. But I did share that once. Probably not again. That's his house. Okay. So yeah, there's some stuff we can check out on Thursday then. Gonna need the white shirt to see the arms. I used to be so proud of my arms back when I went to the gym. Now they're all flabby. Okay, it says I haven't built my temple yet and I don't want to rush, so I want 2 weeks for building. Okay. And just so we're clear, you are building a meteor platform, right? Kitty? I used to actually have guns. That's the thing. I don't anymore. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you don't go to the gym for like 20 plus years. Here, let me get out my kettlebell here. Do some shoulder presses and some arm curls here. Get the guns going again. 15 pounds. Yeah, 15 pounds. That's not gonna do anything. That's why you need time, Kai. But you are working on it. A good game to stream if you're interested is Outer Wilds. I love the game. You can only play it once. Oh, yeah, I've heard about that game. I always get confused because there's Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds, right? But I think I know. Oh, Arc Trooper. Hey, Arc Trooper. Arc Trooper says Milan Lucic is a player for Calgary. I knew he existed. He is, and that's where I get the Luch name is from him because he used to be a Boston Bruin, and I was a big Bruins fan. So it's his name. It's Luch. My name Luchara is Luch and Chara, who were neither one of them play for the Bruins anymore, but they used to play for the Bruins. That's where Luchara comes from. Um, thing with Edward Wild, so uh, like I hate crapping on people's suggestions, but the problem is, generally speaking, when people suggest games, yeah, I know he's not your favorite player. You've made that very clear, Craig. Um, People suggest games or yeah, games that like came out not recently, and I can just tell you from experience, people don't really watch those games, or like my existing viewers might watch those games, wait and watch me play those games, but very few new viewers are going to come for those games. And the problem with where I am is I don't have a big enough existing user base. If I just play, you know, good games, but that are not new or at least not early access, right? I kind of need to stick to new games and early access games. Excuse me, if I want to have any chance of making this work. So I know you're relatively new to the community, Gonzo, but like basically I've been doing this for 2 years. Um, I make some money, obviously, mostly from my Patreon. Shout out to my patrons. What am I saying? So yeah, so I make some money, but I don't make enough to pay my bills. I'm living off, I'm living off savings, and those savings are not they're not they're not endless. They're getting low. Right? So I can only really do this for so much longer if I don't, get a big boost in my views and stuff. So that's why I'm leaning into survival games. I'm hoping we're gonna do a Jackbox thing. Yes, absolutely. Probably like even maybe next weekend, Cal. Now that like Eco's calmed down, we can definitely do a Jackbox thing again. So I need to pull in more view. I need to pull in new viewers. I'm hoping Eco. I'm gonna try to make some Eco guides over the next month or so. And I'm hoping by the time update 10 comes out, I'll have a good bit of Eco guides out there so that, when new players come in and they're like, oh, who's the YouTuber I can watch that has a bunch of good Eco guides? I'm hoping that'll be me, right? Because I'm thinking update 10 is going to bring a bunch of people to Eco, or maybe some returning players to Eco. Like maybe I'll also going to do a what's new for returning players to Eco. Sons of the Forest might give me a boost, hopefully. Yeah. Basically, if me betting on Eco doesn't work, I don't know how much longer I'll be doing this. I mean, I'll keep doing it, just not full time, right? Like I'll have to get a real world job. I'll still do this part time, but yeah, it's just reality. And I'm not trying to I don't say this to be like, "Ooh, please become a patron." If you want to support me, support me. If you don't, you don't. It's fine. I'm not trying to pressure anybody into to support me on Patreon. It's just the reality is, right? I'd much rather make money from YouTube ads. I don't want to just live off the generosity of others, right? I'd much rather make enough from YouTube ads. I don't need Patreon. But the reality is right now I make 5 times as much on Patreon as I do from YouTube ads right now. Like honestly, it's not even close. Luchera does 16-bit classics, Craig says. Yeah, I do have where's that? I don't even know where it is. Somewhere. Here it is. I have this thing. I can stream and record Nintendo Switch games with this. So Skull has a good question that I will get to about Sons of the Forest. I could stream Switch and play, like they have a lot of the NES and SNES games on there. You say that, Craig? I could do that. All I need to do, Bogo says, all I need to do is ask 100,000 people to give me $1 and I'm set for the year. That's true. So everybody who watches a video of mine, as long as they give me $1, I'll be fine. Miso, have I looked at Stranded Alien Dawn? All right, I'm still, excuse me a second. I was still holding that kettlebell. Set it down. Dawn. The name doesn't sound familiar. Let me take a peek here. Oh yeah, Star Sand. Somebody asked. So Star Sand, they sent me an email asking me if I wanted the key. Hey, remember how I was going to end stream 10 minutes ago? That was fun, right? They sent me an email asking me if I wanted the key. So I was like, sure, I'd love a key. Like, all right, we'll get when it's closer to release or whatever, right? And a couple weeks later, they emailed and said, yeah, no, sorry, we're not going to give you a key. And I'm like, why'd you email me then? Like, they emailed me. I didn't email them. Anyway, Stranded Alien Dawn. Survival, base building. Came out about 5-6 months ago, but it is in early access. Just had an update me, so I'll take a look at it. It's single player only. Maybe when I'm done with Planet Crafter, I'll do this. Because Planet Crafter, although this makes it sound like it's a city builder. Oh, Hammermock Games, I recognize that. They make something else I played. I can't remember what, though. What do they make that I... Surviving Mars? Tropico? Oh, there's a few. Surviving Mars or Tropico, I guess, probably. Fun fact, Tropico was like the third game I ever made a Let's Play for. Surviving Mars was definitely one of them. That's probably what I remember them from. Did I do content for Surviving Mars? I think I played it and then decided not to do content. I'll take a look at this though, Miso. Like my plate's fairly full right now. Until the eco servers. I'll be honest. Once the races are done, like this weekend or whatever it happens, I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming eco. I'll still log in every day, and the server will still be there. And I mean, I'm definitely going to stream the meteor, or like if Kitty's going to do a hide and seek, I can stream. But it's at the point now where if there isn't like an event happening, I don't know if I'm going to stream eco. I'll still stream something Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or whatever day I end up. I think since I started Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday streams, I'm pretty sure I've streamed Sunday, not Saturday, as many times as I've actually streamed Saturday. You haven't played the update, but you like the early version. I'll take a look at it. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'll take a look and see like what's out there for other content creators, right? Like that's kind of like part of it. Like if there's a ton of big creators have done videos for it, then it's like I'm less likely to do it. But this looks interesting. Katie says Zan or be like me with no real life friends and just ask my significant other to donate. Oh, ask a friend for $1, Zan said. And Katie says, or be like me with no friends and ask my significant other to donate. Maybe this weekend recap streams, Luke. Yeah, I mean it'd be one weekend, right? And then the next weekend it'd be the meteor anyway. And then like the meteor, I still need to come back to what Skull asked there earlier. How I'm going to do Sons of the Forest. Sons of the Forest technically comes out 2 days before the meteor. So, we'll be playing that. We'll do the meteor stream. And then other than I'll log in eco once a day just to make sure if anybody needs anything. Other than that, I won't be playing eco once it's gone. What says, I know it's ideal, but you consider trying to get a co-op with another YouTuber. I'd like to. The problem, there's not many eco YouTubers, right? But I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream, Bogo, but I suggested maybe it was be cool if my community and the community of some other YouTuber joined a server together, but like competed to see who could shoot down the meteor first or something, right? Like I'd be up for something like that for sure. But because anybody that has a community that large would be big enough that we would probably benefit each other, right? Like I don't think anybody's like I don't want to do it with somebody huge like Partially Royal because that wouldn't be. It would need to be a YouTuber with a similar community size, right? All right, but I want to address what Skull asked here about Sons of the Forest. So Sons of the Forest, it's up to 8 people can be in the world at once, right? One of those is going to be me, right? The question is, do I? Yeah, I know it was way earlier. That would be cool. Or we were all suggesting maybe just split my own community in half and have a contest. Just we were talking about how some people are bored because the server's the same thing every time, and I get that. So someday, eventually, I'm probably gonna want to do a team server. Now, server 11 is gonna have boats, and they'll be fresh, so that'll be fine. But so Skull, Sons of the Forest, about battling for the 7 slots. Here's the thing: do I just pick 7 people and say, okay, you're the 7 people that are with me, and don't give the information to anybody else, right? In which case, it would be 7 patrons for sure, obviously, or do I just give the information to all the patrons and they can come in and out and hopefully there's never more than 7 of them that want to get into the world at a time? Do I give the information to everybody and it's just a race to get in? Like how do I do that, right? Because you can only have 8 people in the world at once. It's not 8 total people in. It's 8 people at once. But still, if I give the whole information to the whole community, there will definitely be times where more than 7 people want to play, probably, right? So I'm not sure, Skull, how I'm going to do it at this point. Like I don't want to make the non-patrons feel left out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't do enough for my patrons, I feel, as it is now. So I'm not sure. Well, I mean, Kitty, to be fair, you're going to be in no matter what, because just as a reward for being, my number 1 eco admin. Sorry, Xander. Kitty's number 1 just because she's more available than you are. But you know what I mean? So I think that'd be fair, right? The reward. Not only that, all my eco admins are also patrons, so I don't feel bad for rewarding them. But yeah, Sons of the Forest, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do with Skull. I wish there's a way I could just have 20 people in. But maybe there's only 15 people interested and they're all in different time zone and it's not an issue. Maybe, right? Main point would be who can help with the content as will be a hot game. That's true. Patrons need a bonus for being patrons. As not patron, don't see an issue with that. The cases I've also been an admin. You've been an admin longer than everybody, and then because it was you encrypted and Ballabdane. Ballabdane is gone and encrypted's too busy. So maybe with mods in the future, yeah. So maybe I'll just include the patrons and hopefully there's never more than 7 patrons who want to be on at once. Because I mean, as we've seen, this is way more than 7 people, right? Now, that doesn't mean that all 7 or I'm sure not all of them want to be in at once. If they set a price, I don't think you can't tell on Steam. For the record, I don't know if anybody does. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can't list your price on Steam unless you have pre-orders enabled. Now, they may have mentioned it on their website or on their Twitter or in the Steam discussions. They may have said their price, but it's stupid. But you can't list a price. You can't here unless it's available for pre-order, which doesn't really make sense to me. But it is what it is. Also, I don't know if anybody else noted, this wasn't supposed to be an early access game. It was supposed to be a full release, but they're running behind, and instead of delaying it, they're just releasing it as early access instead, which I think I like. I think I would rather that than delay it, right? We should do a run of the Forest in anticipation. Sons of the Forest. Oh God, do we have time? I mean, this is kind of why I wanted the meteor to get shot down earlier, right? I mean, it would have to. It's $30. Cal says American guy. That's and like I feel bad for people that have been part of the community for a long time, right? Like that's the thing. Like, yeah, doing Patreon only is fine. Um, Opening up to everybody is fine, but with patrons first and then anybody. But I would feel bad for people like Tarud and Calorie, people, even though they're not patrons, which is fine, but have been part of the community for a long time. You know what I mean? I'd feel bad if you missed out and some random who just joined the community get in. But Tarud, what's Tarud say? You could do a hybrid patron world for the exclusivity, but during stream, it would be fun to call time. Be race to finish, way more interesting with full group for those watching. Yeah, I guess I could. I mean, I could change the password, right, at different times. Like have it patron only for a couple days, and then open it up for everybody, and then change the password back. But hey, Calorie, that's exactly why. That's exactly why a lot of people watch me, right? Cal said, I've been burned on new games so often, so I'll gladly watch you. I'll try it first. Exactly. And Xander doesn't want in. Okay, too spooky. Excuse me. Entropy says, don't worry about us. For what it's worth, I believe the first force had mods that up player counts limits like, 32, 128, and so on. Yeah. I mean, we would, unless my community massively grows, 32 at a time would be enough, I'm sure, right? He says, as a dedicated player on the Eco server, I'd say we have time for the forest run. I mean, but like just realistically though, like when would we start that? Like if we start it now, we only have 2 weeks and 2 days, right? I still want to do my race. I didn't build this. Oh, you can't even see the track or the calendar because my face is in the way. So like, wait, is my real name here anywhere? No. Okay, good. Um, We'd have 2 weeks and 2 days, but that would like completely kill the eco server, right? Like, is that something we want to do right now? And don't get me wrong, I never played the forest. I kind of want to, but I don't know. 3 to 4 streams, you could collect everything and beat the game, even with going in with no knowledge. I mean, I'm sure people could backseat my way there. Tell you what, stay focused on eco till this weekend. Do some races this weekend, and then maybe we can start it. If Katie says I feel a week is good. Yeah, maybe. Do I even own the forest? I might. Like I own so many. I buy games on sale and I never play them. Look at how many. Oh, you can't. I'm in the wrong. I have so many games. Like so many games. The forest. Would it be under the? Would it be under T or F? It's under T. I don't have it. Would probably be under T, right? No, I do have it. It's under F. I do have it. All right, so I do own it. I'll install that later. Um. Anyway, I probably shouldn't like be doxing people's Steam and stuff here. So let's go back to Ego. All right, and it's now 30. So I tried to end the stream half an hour ago, and instead we kept talking. We renting trucks to races. I will have a couple. Oh no, it's gonna be steam trucks. It's the track is meant for steam trucks, Truden, and I will have a couple extra steam trucks there if people need them. And Kitty has donated the stockpile full of coal. So it'll be during my stream on Saturday. So people just basically show up and we'll do like time trials, and then we'll do like races at the end. Will probably be the plan. Okay, says people do it alone in a week, so with the group it should be good. Cody's an expert on the item locations. I just build and cook and gather. Okay. Cody took me into a cave once and he was dying from my reactions. Yeah, well, Yeah. No, it's got a bit of horror mixed into it, right? Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We had a good chat tonight about eco and then about pretty much every other topic in the world. Through and says run before we ask more things. Hope everybody has a good night. I'll be back Tuesday. Be the more Euro friendly afternoon stream time. So I probably won't see a lot of you folks until Saturday. Saturday will be afternoon. I'm starting to think maybe, I don't know, people that are in NA, maybe I should just ask this in Discord, but people that are in North America, are my afternoon streams too early? Like I did the stream I did on Sunday, it was like 2 hours later than my normal stream. That time, for example, is that a better time for people on the weekend in particular? Just let me know. Let me know in Discord. Send me a message on Discord if it is, or if it's not, or whatever. But I want to say too, even if anybody watching hasn't even logged into the eco server this run, you can still log in and do the races, right? I'll have trucks for people that are open to everybody because I want to see a lot of people. I want to see like as many people as possible for these races. I put a lot of time into this stupid racetrack. I want to see some good times. Katie says my reactions make amazing content. All right, folks. Thanks for coming out. Hit the like button, subscribe, Discord, Patreon, second channel, links in the description down below. Most importantly, be good to each other. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm not inviting Seaguns. Don't even say that name. Don't even say it. Anybody, only people that were around for my first two eco servers know that name. But yeah, no. Anyway. Bye.